Hi everyone, Counselor Naomi Ngugi here, and I want to congratulate everyone who is preparing for their wedding. I know the pressure that comes with wedding preparations, and I wanted to put a spanner into the works just to ensure that you are prepared for your marriage journey. One of the things that you need to prepare for is understanding the temperament of your spouse to be. And this is important because different temperaments respond differently to different situations. For example, a choleric partner would be focused on the goal. So if you're going to get married to a choleric, there's a high likelihood that as you are planning for the wedding, they are focused on the goal. This is what they want to achieve. This is the type of a wedding they want to have. They want to dress like this. They want the reception to be like this and all that. They are moving forward towards achieving that goal. On the other hand, if maybe you're a phlegmatic, you could be saying, I'll do this, I'll go and check this service provider, I'm going to do this today, and then it takes long, because phlegmatics are a bit, slower. And so the personality differences is one of the things that may cause a clash in a relationship, because you're wondering, why is my partner delaying in doing this? And this is an important thing. We had agreed that they are going to check out the venue, they are going to check out the caterer, they will meet, I don't know, with the videographer, and yet they have not done it. So if you are maybe a choleric, you may be feeling very frustrated, and you're like, days are moving, we don't have much time. And they seem like they're not worried, that's the other thing. They just know that I'm going to do it, but maybe at some other time. So if you do not understand the temperament of your partner, this can be a source of conflict, because you will look at things very differently from how your partner looks at things. So instead of trying to quote unquote change your partner into seeing things the way you see them, or into doing things at the same pace as you, the best thing you can do is to understand what is their temperament. If, for example, your partner is a melancholy, or you are a melancholy, then you may find that they have a great attention to detail. They want to see the full picture. They're highly organized, so they have everything put into place. They are ticking boxes. They're like, has this been done? When this was supposed to be done at this time, this is supposed to be like this, If it's the catering, they want the food to be like this, the setup to be like this. Very, very attentive to detail. And if you are not a melancholic yourself, you may find that like to be time wasting. At the end of the day, we just want to have a wedding, and go home. And so you're like, these small details, leave them alone. So you may not understand, why are they asking so many questions? Maybe you go to meet a service provider and they're asking so many details, and they want to know everything into detail, not just the full picture, but the nitty-gritty. So you need to understand that you are dealing with a melancholy, very organized. They want to see the whole process. They don't just want to see that this is the menu, that's it. Maybe they want to know, so how do you make this? How do you serve this? And all that. So you may find that time wasting if you are not a melancholy, but really it is not. What you're dealing with is a different temperament. So in a premarital program, you are going to understand all these things, and you will also be able to discuss with your partner their temperament. What are the weaknesses? You need to know, because some of the things that you find your partner doing, it's as a result of the weaknesses of that temperament. So it's also good to note that no temperament is good or better than the other. This is just how this person is made. You will also, in that program, be able to understand yourself so that you can work on your weaknesses. So one of the main advantages of understanding your own temperament is so that you can know yourself and work on the weaknesses, because it's not the strengths that bring the conflict in the relationship. Most of the times it is the weaknesses. So you understand your own weaknesses, you understand the weaknesses of your partner, and you discuss how can we support each other. When I have done premarital counseling, I have found this to be, a very exciting discussion. And sometimes even the couple really laughs, because they look at each other and they're like, you are like this, you know, when you're discussing the temperaments, and they're like, that is you. So it just makes your relationship to be very smooth, because now you understand each other. When you see them doing these things in marriage, you will know it's because of this. And then you also agree, how do we support each other? How do we give each other grace? And it's so key that you prepare for marriage. And I know people say that you usually get the certificate before you have gone through the course. It doesn't have to be so for you. You can actually get the certificate after you have gone through the premarital course, because you are going to be very well prepared. Another thing that is so key, and I hope you're discussing it as you're organizing your wedding, is the financial planning and management. It is very, very important, and you will handle it in a premarital counseling program for you to understand what are the money wounds, you know, that you are bringing in. I know that in Africa, if you're not fighting maybe poverty, it's other things and other things in the family. Most of us were maybe brought up in lack, or maybe one of you, the family was more well up than the other, and so their understanding of money is very different. To a man, money is power. To a woman, money is security. So you need to know, how does this affect your financial planning and management? Because, for example, the background, what were you told about money? Some people were brought up from a place where there was a lot of lack, maybe a lot of poverty. Now you're not there anymore, but the effects of that, you have brought them into the marriage. So it's good to know, how did that affect me? Again, we don't receive a lot of financial literacy growing up, and so most people manage money from their financial woundedness point of view or financial trauma. So it's good to know, what money wounds are you bringing into the marriage, and how can we heal those wounds, so that when you come into financial planning and management, you can at least speak from the same page. You'll be able to agree on, what are your financial goals, what is your expenditure going to look like, how are you going to manage the expenditure, how are you going to manage the income, what investment plans do you have, and are you coming in with maybe properties from the past? How are you going to do to handle that in marriage? Yeah, it's okay. Maybe it's a remarriage, and so maybe you're coming from a place where each of you has their own financial investment. So how do you want to handle this in marriage? It's important that you agree about all that before you get into marriage, so that you do not have conflict arising from finances. You'll also be able to know, okay, what is the financial planning that we are going to have from now on after the wedding. So I hope that you have discussed your finances as you get into your marriage. It's also important to know, how are you going to navigate relationships with family, with friends, with extended family, with other third parties. Again, it's very key, and it's not uncommon to see marriages having difficulties because of lack of alignment in regards to, how does the couple navigate relationships with other third parties. It could be family. For example, are you going to have family come to live in, or are you going to support them from afar? How much are you going to support? Maybe you're marrying someone who, in their family of origin, they are really relied upon financially. So how is that going to change when you enter into marriage? Or how are you going to do that? How is that relationship going to change? So it's very, very important that you are able to agree on, what direction do we take in regards to relating with other third parties, with the respective parents, with other extended family members, even with friends. Yeah. Again, you are also going to clarify core values and the belief system, because now you're coming together. So what are your core values? What do you believe in? Do they align? Because this is going to affect who you are. Living with a person in marriage is going to affect a lot. So you don't want to be misaligned. Someone has maybe different core values. Yeah. And so it's important to understand, what are your faith belief system? Does it align? How is it going to grow in marriage? Which direction are you going to take in marriage? So please, it's not just love and organizing the wedding and having a glamorous wedding, which is absolutely great. But it's also important to prepare for the life after the wedding. If this is you, maybe you're planning your wedding, you're in a relationship that is leading to marriage, or maybe you are engaged, we invite you to join our premarital counseling program, where we deal with many more topics, and you can DM us and we are going to give you more information about the same.